Hi, this is John from Colo. I created a template for the CafeMemo app. I would like to introduce how to use this template. First, let's take a look at the list of what kind of screens there are. New users can register. You can log in. There is also a test login feature. There is a place to change the language settings in the upper right corner. Other languages can also be added. Next, you go home and there is a calendar. By clicking on a date on the calendar, you can select a customer user. When you select a user, you can register what and how much this person ordered that day. After registering, click on this paid status. Since it is unpaid or paid, you can change the status of unpaid or paid. This allows people to temporarily run cafes, etc. Those exhibiting at the event asked who ate, how much, what, and what they ordered today. You will be able to easily tell whether your payment has been completed or not. This is the main point of this application. Multiple items can be added or removed asynchronously by pressing this plus or minus. And it is reflected immediately. When you press save, these information can be registered in the database all at once. If there is already data in the database, it will be updated. If you update to 0 despite having this data, this menu will be deleted from your customer information. The Orchestra plugin made such logic possible. JavaScript is also possible, but the Orchestra plugin is easier to use, so this time I use the Orchestra plugin. Next, we're going to make the menu. Menus can be created and deleted. There is no editing function, so if you want to add it, please add a pencil icon here. Customer information can be edited and deleted. As for the setting, it's like this. Change your email address, change your password, reset if you forget it, and log out. The screen settings are like this. One thing to keep in mind is that when creating a menu, you need to specify when the menu was released. This is not the menu I always use, but the menu on January 19th is cheesecake, iced latte, and cappuccino. You have to register again on the 20th. So it's a bit unsuitable for those who use it every day, but I think it's an easy to use app for those who use it at events. Next, I will explain the database. We use 5 databases. Let's start with the user first. Language is in an option set. Currently, there are only Japanese and English, but please add Italian, French, and other languages you would like to add here. However, just by entering this, you will be able to make a choice. More options here. However, adding this option alone will not complete the language setting. Add this text and create a new attribute. I asked them to add an attribute name that said it was Italy or France. Please add how to write home in Italian using the modify attribute here. This is in the footer navigation menu. If current user language is Japanese in this text, it is Jap, so if this is Italy, please set it to Italy. This will enable multilingual support. You also need to register the text to be displayed at the end. Application text and message. This is the language you would like to add to currently editing messages here. If you select it, the correspondence will not be registered now, so all translations will be available. If editing here is a hassle, please export. You can export your favorite language here, edit it in CSV, and import it again to update your changes at once. Next, we will explain the database of customer information. Customers can add their name and card list. This is the customer card. Who ordered what and when, and whose payment is terminated. The total amount of the payment is included. There are even more orders among these. What an order means is which card the order is linked to, what menu you chose and who ordered it, how many did you order? It shows how many I ordered. The menu in this will be the menu below. When is the menu? How much does it cost? And what is the name of this menu? It is designed like this. It has a simple design, but this customer card and customer card order, and the customer in these three, this relationship may be a little difficult to understand. A customer card has multiple customer card orders. Simply put, a customer is your information. A customer card is a list of information that a customer ordered that day. A customer card order is the content of one order in the list that the customer ordered that day. It contains information such as 1 cafe latte or 2 sandwiches. This concludes the description of the database. Next, the heart of this application is the setting where prices change asynchronously, where prices fluctuate all at once, and I would like to explain bulk processing that allows you to register these repeating groups all at once with a single save button. First of all, by pressing this plus or minus, this total pay changes using a custom state. I use reusable element and custom state. How to use it is to open a floating group called select customers. Select customers total price is the custom state on this page. There is a total price. I need to include the process of adding or deleting items by pressing plus or minus here somewhere. Since you can't call custom skates outside of a repeating group, there is something called a counter in the repeating group. Here the counter is a reusable element. If you add a custom event to a reusable element, you can call a custom event from where this reusable element is contained. In other words, if you put a reusable element called select customer in the counter reusable element, you can call add total price or remove total price in a custom event. It's like calling the reusable element from the outside from the inside. So if you look at the counter here, when you press the button on the counter, I am sending you something called the parent group menu price here. By sending this, the price of the reusable element here now is 6.5. So you can activate a custom event that adds 6.5 to the total price here. It's a bit complicated, but using reusable elements and custom states makes it possible to do this. However, this can only process the number asynchronously. It's a batch save when you press save. You need to use a plugin for this. What kind of plugin does this use? It's the same floating group as before in select customers. It will appear like this when editing app text, save workflow. The last trigger, Musicians under Maestro, is the bulk processing function this time. This is a plugin called the Orchestra plugin. It's the one made by Zero Code. However, this is it. You may have to pay for it, so If you are charged, you will need to pay, so please be careful about that. Musicians Create Edit will run this workflow inside each cell, that's right. As we go through these explanations, first, if this menu does not exist and there are 0 selections, we will add a new one. So it's create. If this is 0 or more and the menu has already been created, I want to update it, so I use make change to. Cappuccino was 3 last time, but if you register it at 0 this time, you will have to delete it when updating, so the deletion process is running here. So step 1 contains the conditions for creating, step 2 contains the conditions for updating, and step 3 contains the conditions for deleting. Maestro does this for all cells. And if we talk about create new from the beginning, we will talk about create new customer. If we talk from the beginning, we will first create a customer card. Create a customer card linked to customers and then create a customer card order in bulk. You need to link a customer card to this customer card tutor, so it's the batch process you mentioned earlier while saving it in a custom state. I'm making a decision about whether to create, update, or delete. After creating all of these, we will also link the saved customer card to the customer's cart. After creating all of these, we will also link the saved customer card to the customer's cart. This is here, right? Make change to the customer cart, the total price is also updated here. We are updating the total amount after all processing is done. All that's left is to reset the custom state. It is processed like this. Other than that, this is mobile compatible, so it looks beautiful on any mobile device. However, we do not support computers. This concludes the description of this template.